students, welcome back to physics class. So we will be covering now the second half of the second chapter. So in the previous class we had the discussion over density. What is density? What is its formula? How it is affecting our day-to-day life? And then we are going to discuss today now further the consequences of changing of density with temperature. I told you in the last class, whenever something is heated up, its density becomes less and it rises up. Now that follows in the case of liquid also, and that is the case in the case of gases also. So today our first topic that we will be discussing will be sea breeze, that how the sea breezes are actually the result of density changes. Now first of all understand better what sea breeze is. The breeze is the soft wind that is blowing, and if it is starting from sea and it is moving towards land area, so from where it starts, that is known as its breeze. If it is starting from sea, it is sea breeze. If it is starting from land, it is land breeze. So let's take the case during the daytime. During the daytime we have the sun brightly shining. But what is the case in the coastal areas? Especially we are going to talk about those areas which are actually nearby the sea, because these sea breeze, land breeze are actually observed over there. So in the sea, the water which is there, water takes a lot of time to get heated up. So the water, since it is taking a lot of time to get heated up, but the land area which was having sand, it was having the sand which takes very less time to get heated up. So in the daytime, this area which was heated up very easily and this area which was heated up very fast, what is going to happen? Air was everywhere. So the air which was there over the land area, that is going to also heat up and it will rise above. Now, since the air of this land has gone above, so what is going to happen? The sea is going to send the soft breeze towards the land area to maintain the pressure, because the land, its air was heated up, so it has blown above. So it was a low pressure area. So maintaining the pressure balance, the air is going to start blowing from the sea. So the breeze is coming from sea towards the land. That's why we have given the name as sea breeze. Now you see exactly the reverse case, that what actually the land breeze is. Now land breeze is going to start obviously from the land and it will move towards the sea, and it will take place during the night time. Now in night time what is going to happen? During the day your water was heated, but during the day, the whole day it was obtaining the heat, but it could not rise its temperature. Whereas the sand which is there, it is having a property of cooling also very fast and heating also very fast. So during the night time when the sun has gone, the sand area is going to become cool very fast. So water which has obtained the heat the whole day has become heated up, whereas the land is now cool. So what is going to happen during the night time? The air which was there in this area, it is heated up, and now since it is heated up, its density is less. So less denser air is going to rise above. Now this is a low pressure area, so the cool wind is going to start blowing from the land towards the sea. So during the night time what are we going to observe? Land breeze. The breeze will start from land and it will blow towards the sea, and that is why the people, those who are living in the coastal areas or the houses which are actually there nearby the coastal areas, they always have a very pleasant weather day and night, because in the daytime they have the sea breeze and during the night time they have the land breeze. So they enjoy the natural breezes the whole day. I hope you have understood. Now we are having one more point which is related with this topic only. Now the fishermen which are there, obviously you know that the fishermen are going to stay near the coastal areas only, and their occupation is to catch the fishes. Now they also use physics in their day-to-day life. Now what they are doing? When they have to go in the sea to catch the fish, they go in the night time, because in the night time the land breeze is there. So the land breeze is actually what? The wind which is blowing from land towards the sea. So once they start, the land breeze help them to go inside the deep sea without making much efforts in rowing the boat. So they are taking the natural environmental concepts which are there. They are taking the help of that to go deep inside the ocean. Now the land breeze was blowing the whole night, so they have entered deep in the ocean. There they are going to catch the fishes. And during the daytime now, when the sea breeze is going to start, the sea breeze will help them to bring their boats back towards the land, again by using natural phenomena only, and by using minimum physical efforts in rowing the boat, they are going to come back towards the land area. So this is how the fishermen utilize this natural concept. I hope sea and land breeze is clear to all. Okay, so let's now see the next topic will be the concept of flotation and sinking. Now you must have seen that whenever we are dipping something in a liquid, there are some objects which immediately sink down, but there are some objects which float over it. So what is the concept behind this flotation and sinking? So here what we have taken, I have taken 3 different vessels. Size is same, but the liquid that is contained in them is different. In the first one I have taken alcohol, which is having its density as 0.78 gram per centimeter cube. In the second one I have water, whose density is 1. In the last one I have glycerine, which is having density 1.25. So actually I have placed all the 3 containers according to the increasing density of them. The least denser, then the denser more than alcohol, and the densest of all glycerine. And what we are actually dipping inside them? A piece of wood. Wooden piece in all the 3, and the density of wood is 0.68 gram per centimeter cube. Now we are saying that once we are having the wood, how it is going to float, or will it sink down? Or if it is floating, then how much it will float? So that is the topic that we are going to discuss in this. Now see the first one. Wood is having density 0.68 and alcohol is having 0.78. You know that wooden density is smaller than this. So if the dipping object, that means the solid object, is having its density lesser than the liquid, then it will float. So here you can see that the wooden piece is floating. But because the gap between their densities was very less, so the wooden piece is having much of its area inside the alcohol. Now let's move to the next case. Here wooden piece is same, having the same density. What have we changed actually? The density of the liquid. Because the liquid has changed from alcohol to water, its density is also changed, 1. Now wooden is again having its density smaller than the density of water, so it will float. But this time the difference you can see has increased. So this time the area which was dipped inside the liquid is little lesser. Earlier a big portion of the wooden piece was under this alcohol, but this time the area has decreased. And now when we are going to dip that same wooden piece in a liquid which is having again density still higher, so you will see that it is floating, but there is very less area of the wood which is underwater. That means if the density of the liquid is increasing, you will have a very less portion of the wood inside that liquid. So what is actually the result out of this? So the result of this activity is, if your solid is having density greater than the liquid, then it will sink in it. And if your solid is having density less than the liquid, then it will surely float. Like here, in all the three cases, the wooden piece was the solid object and the liquids were different, but every time that wooden piece was having density less than the liquid, so it was floating in all the three cases. And if you want to see the example of sinking, we are having a very easy example. Suppose take an iron nail and dip it inside water. The moment you are going to leave this iron nail, the same moment it is going to go in the bottom. It will sink down. Why? Iron nail was made up of iron whose density is 7.6. Huge difference between the density of water and iron. Solid density was bigger than the liquid. As you can see, 7.6 is much higher than 1. So immediately the iron nail has gone on the bottom part. I hope the topic is clear. Now related to this, we have another topic which is plimsoll lines. Now you know that beta, when the ships are there, they are designed to carry the cargo from one place to another. They have to carry the things when we have to transfer from one country to another through the waterways. So there are some lines which are there on the ships. So these ships are having these plimsoll lines. Okay. Now what is the reason of having these marks over there? These are generally of red color. Now what was the reason? See, when your ship has to travel from different water body to a different water body, the water is having a different density every time. Suppose your ship started from river and it will be entering sea. River water is having density lesser because it has lesser amount of salts in it. But in the case of sea, the salts are very large in quantity in the sea water. That's why its density is higher. Now when your ship, when it started, suppose this was your ship, we have completely loaded it with the things. All the material that I have to send to a different country was loaded in the ship. And from the river, now it has entered the sea body. Now you know that when the object is going to go from a less denser liquid to a more denser liquid, so a very less part of the ship will be submerged under water and major part of the ship will be above the water. So you can clearly imagine now, if you see a huge ship and its very less area is submerged under water, so you can imagine the ship which is there will not be able to maintain its balance in the water, and even with a small storm also in the sea, your ship can get overturned because the stability was missing. Reverse case can also happen. If suppose the ship was coming from sea and now it is going to move towards river. So when it was coming in the sea, it was loaded and it was perfectly fine. But now when it is going to come into a less denser liquid, that means from sea it will go to a river. So from high density liquid to a low density liquid, so it will submerge more inside the water of river. Again the same problem. If more part of the ship is going underwater, there are chances that the ship will sink down. So now how to maintain this balance, how we will come to know? For that only, that till what level actually we have to fill a ship is decided by these plimsoll lines. These are the safety marks over the ships to decide that till what level actually you can carry the cargo in it. Now see, let's see the last topic. Now let's see that how the sinking of an iron nail is possible in water, whereas an iron ship, which is such magnificent in its size, that is able to float in water. Again, here also the role is being played by density. I told you just now that the density of iron is 7.6 gram per centimeter cube, whereas the density of water is just 1. You can see that the density of iron is much higher than water. So when we are talking about an iron nail, so an iron nail, the moment you are going to drop it in water, that same moment it is going to sink down, because the density of that solid is higher than density of the liquid, so it will immediately sink down. Now when we were on the construction of an iron ship, so obviously you need to go beyond your limits, and what we had to create, we have to create a strong structure also of the ship, and at the same moment we wanted that it should float also. So what we did for that, the formula of density we already had, that density is equal to mass upon volume. So what we did for that, mass we could not change, but volume and density, they both are inversely proportional to each other. That means they had an opposite relation. If somehow I increase the volume to a very large extent, then the density will come down, because they are opposite related. If this volume is increasing, density will surely decrease. So what we did, while we were making the ship of iron, we made a huge structure and most of the part of it was hollow. So we were successful in making the volume to a very large extent. Now if the volume has increased, definitely the density would have gone down. And what was our target? To bring the density lesser than 1. So the moment the density is going to go less than 1, our purpose is solved. Because if the density of the ship is going to go below 1, it is going to float in the water. So this is how the technique is done. So when a ship is made, the average density of that entire structure is made lesser than water, so that the ship can float. I hope the topic is clear to you all. Now let's have the discussion over few numericals given in the book. So let's see the first numerical given in your book. Mass of wood is given 150 grams. Volume is given. We know that density formula is mass upon volume. Both the quantities are given to you. Place the value of mass, place the value of volume. Both are divisible and you will get the answer 0.75. Now how you will decide about the units? Because the mass was in grams, volume was in centimeter cube. So the answer will be gram per centimeter cube. And if they ask you in SI system, just multiply your answer by 1000 and you will convert this into SI system. So 0.75 into 1000 will become 750 grams per meter cube. See the next example also now. Mass of wood was given 6000 grams. Density was given this time. But see, mass is given in SI system kg, but density is given in CGS. So what I did, I immediately multiplied this by 1000 so that I can get the density in kg per meter cube. So 0.8 into 1000 gave me 800. Volume was unknown, that I have to calculate. What is the formula of density? Mass per volume. If you have to calculate volume, shift volume that side and density will replace it. So the formula became volume is equal to mass upon density. Mass is given 6000, density, yes, it is also given 800. Divide both of them and you will get the answer 7.5 meter cube. And why meter cube? Because it is coming in the SI system, because we have taken mass also as well as the density in the SI system. So meter cube here, so answer will also have the volume in meter cube. Now see the last one. Volume of kerosene is given in liters, 5 liter, a unit which is not at all required by us. So what I did, I multiplied this by 1000. In 1 liter we have 1000 centimeter cube. So in 5 liters we will have 5000 centimeter cube. Mass was given 4.40 kg, which is 4400 grams. So density formula, mass upon volume. Mass is given, volume is given, divide both of them. Both are divisible, so answer will come 0.88 gram per centimeter cube. And if they ask you the density in SI system, that's very easy. Once you get the density in CGS system, just multiply that by 1000 and you will get the answer 880 kg per meter cube. I hope all the numericals you will be able to solve now, whatever are left. And now you have to complete the question and answers in the copy, but the objective part you have to finish in your book itself. The rest, if you face any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box or you can ask me through the eCare app. Thank you, students.